Hello everyone. Welcome back. Or welcome. I just have to act like this is not going on YouTube, and I've probably said that in a few videos before, but I think it just kind of ruins making videos for me, like thinking about the fact that other people might see this, and then I get like all weird and shy, and then I get self-conscious and whatever. But I've just woken up. Today is one of my only days off that I've had in like months and months where it's just me at home and not like someone else. So it's good because I don't like making videos around people, and I don't like explaining videos because like it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. But yeah, few disclaimers. There might be like some weird aura, I can see it already, like lights in the background because I dropped my phone and I cracked like the camera, the front camera, so it's got like one little line. It's doing okay, it's doing all right, but now whenever I make a video there's like a little aura thing. And you might hear Ruby, my rabbit, running around like crazy because she's got the zoomies. So and a third disclaimer, I've got no clue. There's like topics I want to talk about, but in typical Tani style they will probably be all over the place, and I'm also feeling very self-conscious. My face is puffy because I've been crying for like the past 2 days, which I'll get into. And like I said, I just woke up, so, and I'm very self-conscious about how big my shoulders look because of this oversized jumper. And yeah, I think that's everything I just want to pick apart at the beginning. So my last video was called I Want a Lobotomy, I think. My last YouTube video, and I can't remember what I spoke about in it. I think probably about drinking, and I can't remember how long ago that was. I never go back and rewatch my old videos, so someone can like watch my videos like back to back. Like someone might watch like the one before that one and then lobotomy and then this one and be like, what the fuck? Because I might be all over the place. I don't know. That is just who I am, and this is why I don't go back and like watch my old stuff, because I feel things so intensely and I'm like a completely different person in like one period of my life, and then, you know, a couple of days, weeks, months later I'll be a completely different person again, and so it doesn't make sense to me, and it like stresses me out and also makes me feel like shit when I go back and like put myself in my old shoes. I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense, but yeah, I don't know what I spoke about, but I know it wasn't good, and it's like it wasn't positive, and it was probably pretty heavy. I think it was roughly around the time in my life where I was like really, really, really not doing well, like really not doing well, and yeah, I don't know, but this video is gonna be a little bit different. So there's like 17,000 things I have to update, and part of me doesn't really like giving updates because I am kind of mindful that like my parents might watch this, and I don't think that they have like any right to know what's going on in my life. So I don't, like, a selfish part of me is just like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want them to know anything, and like this might be their weird like way of keeping tabs on me or whatever. However, I just have to be comfortable with the fact that they're probably going to do that. I can't control people's actions, and I don't want it to be like the reason why I don't do something, because realistically if they find out about something, it's not the end of the world, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a weird thing for me. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't know, don't you? Anyway, so I'm just gonna like rapid fire a few like quick updates, and then I want to get up to like the thing that I kind of want to talk about. Dylan and I, my partner Dylan, by the way, if you don't know who Dylan is, we've just bought land and we're gonna build a house, so that's really exciting. In this economy, really good job. It's worth a lot of money. That's all I'm gonna say. But I've also just gotten a promotion at work as well, so I'm a big dog, which is so weird because there's so many things happening all at once, and it's just like, holy shit. Like this year, sorry, the beginning of it was like so good, like January, and then for like the next couple of months it just went really downhill, and it felt like it was going to be a horrible year, and I've just like written it off. But if I come to think about it, I bought my dream car, a Tesla, and don't even get me started on Elon Musk stuff, just let people live their lives, please. So I bought my dream car, dream color. What the fuck? I bought my, like, what the fuck? How did I buy that? I don't know. I really don't know. I bought that in March, and I just came back from my 3rd cruise to New Zealand. I've never been to New Zealand before, but, and then, yeah, Dylan and I bought some land. I got a promotion. We're in the process of building like $1 million house. It is just, it's all going on, and like, oh, I have to be, this beautiful cup of tea, by the way. I love tea. Ooh, sorry, someone from work's messaging me on my day off. Thanks, guys. Love a good cup of tea, very good vibes. It is actually all happening, and like, it's crazy because a couple of months ago I was driving back. This is probably gonna get deep real quick, but I was driving back from a doctor's appointment because this year I've also been dealing with like ADHD stuff, and it, as much as it sounds like it'd be good, it actually caused like a lot more stress, and kind of like worsened my mental health almost. Well, it did actually. Yeah, I don't, anyway, so I was driving back from an appointment, and it was just a really bad time. Like, I pulled over the car and I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. Like, it was a horrible, nasty, low time, and it felt like all hope in my life had been lost. And not just like that one day, I just remember that day because it was just such an intense day for me. But, you know, like, I was waking up and just thinking like, genuinely, what's the point? And I'd never, like, I'd experienced like a lot of like trauma and like grief before, but realistically my life was going well. Like, I had a car, like I just bought my car, and like, you know, I was trying to manage my ADHD, which I didn't even know about, and until this year I didn't know what it was. I didn't know like what all these issues were. And you know, I was in a healthy relationship. I still am, but like, you know, at the time I was still, and yeah, I still felt like there was absolutely no hope. And I looked around the world, like at the world, and it just felt like nothing would ever get better. Even though my life seemed like it was okay, or it might be okay, I hated myself. I hated everything about myself, my life, who I was at the time, who I might not ever be in the future. And now I like am here right now, and I'm just like, I can't believe I felt like that. Like, I know I can believe it, and it was so strong. Like, even thinking about it right now, I just want to cry again. But like, life does get better, and there is hope. And I think I had hope that there would be hope, even though I didn't, like, you know, some of the issues I was dealing with at the time was like social media, and like just the way that the world has worked. Like, what the fuck happened? And like, I still kind of feel like that now, but I just can't think about it so intensely because it's just doom and gloom, and like, it really does have like an impact on me. But like, you know, everything, absolutely everything's an advertisement, and politics is like, what the fuck? You know, cost of living in Australia is just getting stressful. Like, I'm very grateful to be getting land and like building a house. I wasn't in that position at the time. Well, I was in a position to do so, but I wasn't, I didn't realize that I could. And so like, I didn't have anything, and I was like, I'm gonna be living with like my boyfriend's parents forever, and nothing will ever get better. Like the world won't get better. There's so much hate. A few things at the time going on were that like really traumatized me. Ruby's like going ham on some sort of toy. There was a, don't know if anyone remembers, there was a stabbing on a bus. I think it was in America, but it sounds like it was in America. And I don't remember where it was, but this like guy got on, and I don't know, he had a knife and he just like absolutely stabbed the fuck out of some random chick, who I think was a foreigner, if I'm remembering correctly. And that was like on, like you could see that, like that was a video that like someone showed me, and you could literally, like I just watched someone kill someone. Like I just watched a genuine murder. And Charlie Kirk also got shot, and then that was just like a whole different ordeal. Won't even go into that, but it was like, what the fuck is going on? Like genuinely, what the fuck? And then being at work, because I work retail, it's like the amount of people I see a day is a lot, and I'm like looking out in like the public, and I'm just like, are you guys all okay? Like genuinely, like, are you guys actually okay? Because it seems like no one is. Everyone's just like fucking, I know that I'm gonna get cancelled by saying these words or whatever, but like everyone's just like stupid. Everyone's just actually so dumb. I won't say the word I was gonna say, but like it's like, what? And I'm not talking like dumb as in like, oh, they don't know the process of how we do things or whatever. I'm talking like genuinely like, I don't know. It just seems like everyone's so angry, and I forgot where I was going with that, but like just seemed like everywhere in the world there was just no fucking hope. There was just no hope no matter what. And it's kind of relevant to what I'm about to talk about, but I still like had hope that there might be hope, but it was so scary because I'd never felt so low before, in terms of like, you know, when I was going through stuff with my family, and I was in the process of like running away basically, and leaving them, and like everything happened with my mom and my dad and like my stepdad and just like a whole bunch of other shit. I always had hope that there would be better out there, and like that's why I left, and like I'm so grateful that I did, because you know I had like an idea of what I wanted my life to look like, and I don't know how I made it out, to be honest. I really don't know what made me different to like the rest of my family, and why I was like why I didn't fall back into that trap. Like I saw so many people in their own, no, I just keep going from topic to topic, but I just have a lot to talk about. I've seen so many people like with their own family issues and their own problems, and like, and they kind of fall into it. I remember there was this girl that lived behind me, and she was like my backdoor neighbor, and it was really cool because we used to hang out over the fence, and I always wanted like some sort of friendship like that. She's not my best friend, and then she went to high school before I did, and then we just stopped talking, and it's probably for the best, because her family, I think they were also like into drugs, possibly alcohol, I don't know, really like just all over the place, didn't seem healthy, whatever. And the difference between me and her is like crazy. Like I don't know where she's at now, but at the time she kind of like fell back into it, and she had like, she probably did drugs. I think she did actually. She had friends that were all kind of like not toxic, but they were all just like negative, like I don't know. And like, see, I saw, I guess, what my family was like, and you know, just so like negative and depressed, and like, I mean, different parts of my family are different problems, but like on a whole, just like not very healthy. And I looked at that and I thought like, I'm just not going to be like that, and then I just left. Whereas you know, other people, like I always had hope for the future. It was other people like saw that and for some reason just stayed, like they let it consume them and they took part in it eventually, you know what I mean? Like they entered the cycle, I guess. I don't know what made me different. I don't know what made me think like I'm just not settling for this. And you know, I always got told growing up like I had a bad attitude and like all this shit, but I am grateful that I did, because you know, I've been a fighter. Like I've not in the like I'm a survivor sort of way, like just in, I mean like I don't like, I don't know, I didn't I fought against what I thought was wrong, and like good on me for that, because it turned out really well, because look at where I am now. But sorry, just I haven't talked and made a video in so long, and now it's just like all coming out. But yeah, but that was easy because like I had hope that when I left it would get better, and I had dreams, and like, you know, at the time I wanted to go to university, and I always like from day dot I wanted to be a mum and I wanted to have a family, and I'm not sure like where that dream came from. However, it's my dream now. It's what I want. Like people ask me what I want to be when I grow up. Like if people asked me, sorry, the professions always changed because there wasn't any job I wanted to do. There wasn't any like I wanted to be a doctor, whatever. Like it changed all the time. And even right now, like I'm 22, which is crazy because like I keep forgetting how young that is. I feel like I'm older, but at the same time I still feel like I'm younger now. Like I feel younger the older I get. It's really weird. But you know, technically I do have a career. I'm set financially. Like I'm doing really well, but it's like in retail, so people wouldn't take it seriously. Even though it is now, thank you, over 100k a year. So, and it just keeps going up. So I'm very happy about that. There is good money in doing what I do, and there's a reason because I work so much. But you know, people probably wouldn't take like my job seriously, and so I always felt like, oh, I had to have like, you know, I studied accounting for a bit, and then I was like, I can't do uni. That's just not me. My time management's horrible. I don't want to do like assignments and stuff. But I've come to realize it doesn't matter what I do, because I've never had like a dream job, and I don't want to have a dream job because I don't really want to work. That's not my dream. And even though we have to work because that's just how the world works, and I don't mean like I want to have like a working from home like job. Like I don't, my dream, my absolute goal, my passion in life, if I do it, I'll die happy, is to have a family, like genuinely. So I want, you know, a husband and kids, and like I want a house, and I'd love to be like a stay-at-home mum, and not because I don't want to work, but because like my passion is raising kids, and like I don't know, I'm not sure like where it's come from. I think I've had it with me, but like yeah, I just that's my dream, and like that's okay to have that dream. So I'm doing what I do now, and no matter what I do, there's going to be pros and cons, like my jobs or whatever. But I've always had that family to kind of hang on to, and those sort of dreams. And like if anything feels like really bad, then I kind of go back to that. I'm gonna finish my tea real quick because it's getting cold. Sorry. Anyway, so it's cool because since I started the process of buying, well, like Dylan and I bought land, which I'll talk about in a bit, but like we're gonna have to probably go back to that. Yeah, since I kind of started that process, it's like this is step one. Like obviously I have a partner, and like I don't mean to sound cheesy, and you can listen to this and think like, okay, yeah, whatever, like, but like Dylan is genuinely my actual soulmate. Like I don't really think soulmates exist because there's so many people in the world, and it's like, how can you have one soulmate? But when I first met Dylan, I've told him this as well, it felt like I knew him already. And like, even though I didn't have any romantic feelings for him at the time, I remember, because I met him through work, I had my interview, and I met him at the place that, I met him at like the store that I originally worked at, and he was just like down in like the warehouse doing something. And I saw him, someone introduced me to him, like, oh yeah, this is Dylan, this is blah, blah, blah. And I just remember like automatically thinking like, wow, it's like, I just feel like I know you. Like, it's like, it was like a really weird spiritual connection, which doesn't make sense because it's like, didn't really think about it at the time, but I just remember this weird feeling and of like, I feel like I know you. And I genuinely think I've met Dylan before or something, like in another life, even though I don't really believe in other lives. I don't know, but we just have this like thing, and like even when I die and he dies and whatever, I just feel like our love will just like keep going on. I probably sound crazy. I can't, like, I'm trying to like kind of summarize my love for him, but I can't, not in words. Like, and no one really knows me, and no one knows Dylan, and no one knows our relationship. But like, I've got like a really good relationship. Like, I'm set. Like, I have my soulmate, and I have like, you know, even though we've had problems before, as you do when you start like dating someone and you figure things out as in who they are, and you know, there is always going to be like cons, or not cons, but there's always going to be, I guess, weaknesses in a relationship. But like, even our weaknesses, we could literally work anything out, and we've worked everything out, and no matter what happens, we'll be okay. Like, I feel that now. Like, maybe a couple years ago I had trust issues and I didn't feel that, but now it's like I'm set, you know. So I've got the partner, and we're gonna get married, and we're gonna have kids, and that's great. But like the house and everything, pardon me, just felt really unrealistic because of finances and like the world. Like, house prices right now in Australia are going up like $1,000 a week. I swear to God, it is fucking ridiculous. Like, I said that we're building a house that's worth $1 million, and it will probably be worth more than that after it's built. But you'd think, oh, that's like a mansion, like, sort of thing, but it's not. Like, it's big, it's a decent house, and I'm really excited about it, but it's not a mansion on like, you know, 5 acres or anything like that. Like, it's a 4-bedroom house on like 1,000 square meter block. So it's just because of the way things are. Like, anyway, getting a house just felt really unachievable. So now that I have started that, it's like, holy shit, this is like the next level. And then after we get a house, because Dylan and I have a plan, it's house, marriage, kids. You know, like, it's starting like my actual dreams. It's easy to lose sight of what you want when like things are going wrong. Like, I was having so much stress and pressure at work, and I was like, what the fuck is the point? Like, I don't like my job, and what is the point in doing this? But like, this kind of brings it back to like, this is the point. And I guess that's why I make vision boards, so I can like keep focusing on it, on like the point. But I've lost myself to like superficial things, like getting a car and all that. Like, at the end of the day, like, my mind, body, and soul wants to have a family and wants to have stability, and like, all of those things are supported by a healthy relationship, money, to be able to, you know, afford things, and it just makes it a lot easier, I think, to work through. I talk about hope and how I was feeling like not in a good spot. Hang on, I need to put deodorant on because I'm sweaty. Okay, thank God for the Apple bringing out the freaking pause feature. When did they do that? I don't know, but so I talk about all this because of something that happened, and I don't know where to start with this bit. So a couple of weeks ago, I went on my 3rd cruise. Dylan and I went to New Zealand together. On the last day of the cruise, we were sitting on the boat at 6:45 in the morning eating breakfast. We were literally about to walk off the ship at 7. And I turned on like my messages again because I had like roaming off and wasn't really wasn't communicating with people. Obviously we were on vacation for like 2 weeks, so I don't know why I went on Facebook and the first post that came up was one of my, I say friends. Friends is probably a loose term now because I don't really talk to anyone, and it's a different thing. But one of my friends had posted a photo of someone, and it was a black and white photo of this guy, and I'm going to say his name because I don't think there should be any I don't know, sometimes I think like how would his family feel, but like I think they would want him to be talked about and celebrated and everything. But his name was Corey, and anyway, it was just like I don't know what they're called, but it's like a funeral notice, I guess, where like you have the photo of the person and then his name, and it had his date of birth, and then it had an end date, which is so weird because like I've seen them before, obviously, like people die and whatever. I've never experienced death so close to me. The closest death I guess I've experienced is my great grandma passing away, but that's my family and I are like pretty estranged, so I didn't really know her very well, and it didn't like impact me. It didn't, you know. And then, oh, actually, now that I think about it, my other great grandma died like a couple months ago too, and for some reason my mum thought I would care, but I've met her once, so that was just a different thing. But anyway, so this to me has been one of the only deaths I've ever experienced, and where do you even like start talking about this shit? So Corey had passed away, and I saw it, and it was just like so surreal to see someone's photo, someone that you know, someone's photo on that like sort of what do you call it, like note, like death notice basically. And I wish I could show you what I'm talking about, but I can't, and it wouldn't be appropriate. But you know, it was like, what the fuck? Like it felt really surreal. I think that's such a good way to describe the feeling of like, I looked at that and my whole body went cold, and I was like my brain couldn't compute it. Like I was like, what the actual fuck? Like he shouldn't be on there. Like I've seen photos of him before, and this is a heavy photo. Like this is, I don't know. It was just like, holy fuck. And then the caption that my friend had wrote was, you know, never thought I'd have to say goodbye to you, or like you're not someone I've ever thought I would have to say goodbye to. And I was like, holy fuck. And then I read that and I was just like, oh my god, like I'm literally sitting there, and then I just started crying because like obviously I've just found out that like an old friend's passed away, and yeah, it was really such a weird thing. The thing is, I knew Corey. I knew him through a few different like avenues. Originally, like Corey and I went to high school together, and he was a year above me. He had dated one of my friends, and my high school story is like a little bit weird. Like I had different friends in different year levels and whatever, but you know, I was friends with her for a little bit, and then like I kind of jumped groups, but like we all kind of knew each other and there was no bad blood. And like I knew Corey from dating my friend, and then also he was a part of my friend group when I was in year 12, because I was dating my ex-partner at the time. Well, I was dating my partner at the time, but my ex-partner now. And like we were all in like a group. We played games together because people probably don't really know this about me, but I was, and I kind of still am, but it's kind of gotten away from me a bit with life. But I was a huge like gamer. Like I had a PC, and we played Overwatch and like Jackbox together, and so many different games. And like every single night I was playing with my friends, and it was a big gaming group. Like there was a lot of us, and he was obviously one of them. And I've been to parties with him. Like the last time I saw him was at a party in 2022. And at the time I had separated from the guy that I was dating in year 12, and I'd gotten together with Dylan, and it happened really quick. I understand that. And so like I'd lost all of my friends, because all of my friends when I was at the end of high school and just graduated were all of Jordan's friends, because keep in mind at that time in my life I'd run away from my family and I actually lived with Jordan like for the most part. I was kind of going around to different places, but for like almost all of 2021 I was like living with Jordan after I graduated. Oh, I just sorry to Jordan. I just said his name. I don't think he really minds. Jordan's my ex. So I'd lived with him and he lived in a town and he had all these friends from that town, and Corey had gone to primary school with Jordan and high school obviously, and like it was just a big group, and I kind of knew him, like I'd had conversations with him. I've got text messages between us on different platforms, on Discord, on Instagram, over text messages. Like I knew Corey, but I wasn't necessarily like friends with him. We'd hung out quite a few times, but we'd never hung out just us or anything like that. And I'm just saying this because I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around a few things. But I fell out with Jordan's group and Jordan basically after we broke up, and obviously as that happens. And I remember going to this party at another friend's place, and Corey was there, and he actually made Dylan feel welcome. At the time a lot of people were like hostile and bitchy, and like, you know, it is what it is. Like I kind of understand, but you know, Corey wasn't one of those people, and he, you know, asked Dylan like questions about himself and like introduced himself, and you know, made sure that he was having a good time. And you know, Dylan only met him that one time, but I'd spoken about Corey before, and we'd see him driving his car and I'd wave to him and I'd be like, oh look, that was Corey or whatever. And so, but like Dylan was also left with like a really good impression on who he was, because that's just who he was. And it's crazy because you hear people say stuff like, oh, he never said a bad word about anyone, and like he was always so funny and he cared a lot about people, and he you know, and like they talk people up after they pass away and they go, yeah, like he didn't have a bad bone in his body. And I've always just thought like, okay, yeah, whatever, because there's always like people always have issues, and like no one is ever a saint, and just because like they've passed away doesn't mean that they were like the best person on earth. However, Corey actually was that guy, and like I only really realized this afterwards, you know, when you go back and like really reflect on like who he was. He genuinely was that guy who like was best friends with two people who used to be in a relationship. This is not me, but this is someone else. He was best friends with two people that used to be in a relationship that had a bad breakup, and like he navigated being friends with both of those people, and he didn't talk shit about anyone. Like he was just one of those people. Like you'd go to a party that wasn't even his and he'd make you feel welcome, and he'd be making jokes all the time, and we'd be sitting there playing games, and if anyone was quiet he'd talk to them and like make them feel welcome. And like I remember he like gave me so much support sometimes, like in such a small way. Like he wasn't ever like, oh, I mean he has said before like, I'm here for you if you ever need, but you know, he talked to me about uni stuff, or like when I made like a YouTube video or something, like he was like, you know, like that's really cool. And he was just a really nice guy. It's just been weird because I wasn't really like friends with him. Like I would have considered him a friend. However, recently I haven't spoken to like anyone. Like I've lost all my friends. I've just been doing my own thing, like in my own life, and like I haven't really wanted, I'm very picky with who I like spend my time with and who I put effort into, because a lot of people like drain the fuck out of me, and we just lost touch. And like it wasn't the fact that he was a bad person or I was a bad person or anything like that. It was just, you know, he had his own friend group and I just lived my own life, and so we weren't really friends, but like I would have considered him a friend. And like I know he was one of those people that's like, if I just randomly was like, hey, like how's it going, he'd be like, oh my god, hi, like I haven't spoken to you in ages. It just made me feel guilty because I was so upset about him and when I heard about his death. And there was like so many parts of me saying like, you shouldn't be allowed to be upset because like you weren't there for him. And I don't know how to deal with that. Like, I don't know how to, I don't know if I'm right or wrong in thinking that. But yesterday at the funeral, when the person was speaking, I don't know what they're called, like I don't want to say host, but it was, I know that they have a professional name. It was a lady that was like kind of working with the family and, you know, kind of organized the funeral. She was speaking and she actually said like at the beginning of it, you know, for a lot of you, because you're so young, because Corey was so young, this is probably like your first funeral and you're gonna be confused and grieving in your own way, and it's gonna feel surreal and overwhelming and confusing. And she's like, just know that there is no right or wrong way to grieve or to mourn, and you don't feel guilty because like this is not one person's fault or you couldn't have done more. And anyway, it just felt like she was speaking to me like directly. Like I heard that and I just like started, obviously it was a funeral so everyone's crying, but I bawled my eyes out to the point where I thought I was gonna bite my lip off because I was trying so hard to like stifle my fucking sobbing. Because yeah, it did feel like, I think she said something else and it just made me feel like, okay, so I am allowed to be upset and to mourn even though I might not have been really close with him, especially in like I hadn't spoken to him for so long, but like I did know him and I knew who he was, and it does hurt like regardless. So it made me feel a little bit better, and now I feel like I can kind of talk about it. So this is probably gonna sound like fucked up, and apologies to anyone who also thinks it's fucked up. I was like, obviously, like I heard about him dying and I was like, by how and why and what's happened basically. So I did some like digging because it's inappropriate to just ask people like, how did he die, especially when I'm not really involved. And I am one of those people that I need to know things. Like it's like I'm an investigator, I'd say. Like love murder mysteries, lol, case files, escape rooms, figuring stuff out, solving a thing. Like I love that stuff, and it's part of who I am. And like I like getting to the bottom of things, because if I don't know things and I can't understand it, and if I don't understand it I don't know what to do with it. So that's just some context about why. But I did some digging, and you know, on some other posts, I think someone had posted like a lifeline, like a mental health support, like reach out, get help sort of thing. So then I realized, okay, he'd committed suicide, which was hard to deal with because it's like, holy fuck. Like, that's just a different thing. And then I left it at that. I was like, I wonder, you know, what happened and what it was like leading up to that. And yeah, there was still so many questions. But then, so I found that out on the 20th of November, and his funeral was yesterday, 26th. Today's the 27th, I think. So every single day after that, I was just like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like it just kind of sat with me for a little bit. It was really weird. It's like this feeling of like so many unanswered questions, and I still have it. You know, like questions I shouldn't have to know the answers to, and it's not my place. But like, you know, did he reach out? Like, did he leave a note? Was he planning this for a while? Like, what had happened? Was it one event? Like, you know, there's so many questions. And so I think because of that, I was just trying to figure out like what the hell happened. I ended up going on like a actual psycho, because my granddad's with the CFS, which is like a country fire service. I know that they have this thing called a paging feed, and it's basically how like services talk to each other, police, fire, and ambulance, and like, you know, sub things and that. So I went on like a paging feed back to the day that I know he died, and I was just trying to see any like incidences and like figure out, I guess, what had happened. Like maybe, like, I don't know, a part of me, like, I knew that it was likely he committed suicide because of the Lifeline Get Help, but it's like, was it, there was a, sorry, I know I'm kind of going all over the place. Just before Dylan and I left for our cruise, there's someone else that he knew of that had also passed away, and it was confusing. No one was talking about whether it was suicide or whether it was an accident, and we did some digging and found out that it was suicide. But it was so confusing because it's like you don't know, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but like, even though we had so much evidence that it was, and like I figured out like what had happened and how and everything, it was like, it could have been an accident, it might not have been an accident. So it was just so many like unfulfilled things. So even with Corey, even though I saw like the Lifeline thing and I figured it was like, was it, you know, like, could it have been a car accident or something like that? Anyway, based off of the paging feed, I had figured out what had happened, and based off of what I had figured out, it still had more questions. Like, now I had even more questions because it was like the middle of the day, like the sun was out. And so I know that sounds like silly, but you know, when you're alone at night and things just feel like overwhelming, maybe it's just me, but like, you know, people's mental health like feels worse at night when they're alone and there's no one to talk to, and it'd been a bad day or whatever, and honestly you're probably hungry and you need to sleep, and like, you know, but it was at like literally midday, like in the middle of like the day, like what was going through his mind, you know? And then after I found out like how he did it, I was like, I just had more questions of like, you know, did people see it? Did he regret it? Did it hurt? Like, was he okay? Like, I don't know. So I'm trying not to cry about it, even though it's such a heavy topic, because I've just been crying about it for so long. And it just hurts because I said all those things about Corey and what type of person he was, but I also connected with Corey on a different sort of level, where he was an older soul. He was empathetic to the point where it hurt, and he was a people pleaser, and he did carry a lot of anxiety and self-loathing and insecurities, and everything felt intense for him. And I know that because we've spoken about it, and he was very vocal even back when like we were kind of talking and hanging out in like the group and everything, and like it wasn't ever like he was like this really 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 happy-go-lucky person and you were like, oh my god, he's like perfect. Like, we all knew he struggled, and I think that's what makes it hard. It's like, he didn't, like, obviously he hid to what extent it was, I guess, but like, you know, I heard about, and even though I was shocked that he did kill himself, it was like, it wasn't like, I was like, wow, I never really thought he'd ever, I don't know how to, this sounds like really fucked up. It's just, there were signs like years ago. Yeah. I don't believe, there's so many things I want to talk about, and this is gonna be a long ass video. I don't believe in specific like religions or like life after death or anything like that in my head, because this is the easiest thing to kind of, well, this is the most logical thing to me. Like, once you're dead, you're dead. Like, I don't necessarily believe in life after death. I don't believe in heaven or hell or anything like that, in spirit or reincarnation or anything like that, because I don't know. I don't have evidence, and it's hard. I've got trust issues, so it's hard to like just trust in the fact that this is what I think might happen. However, at the funeral yesterday, I think part of me had so much hope that he was able to see how many people went out and how many people had stories and how many people had love for him, even though maybe no one made that clear enough, or like, I don't know. But it was so easy to think about him walking around and being like, wow, there's a lot of people here. Crazy, hey guys, how you going? Like, it was crazy it was easy to think about like the jokes that he would tell, and like a photo would come up and it would be easy to think about him going, oh my god, who picked this photo? And it was easier to think about that stuff than to think like he's not here and he doesn't see it. And it made me feel better thinking about that. And yeah, so it hurts to think how he didn't have hope, and he didn't have, like, he just couldn't go on. I think it's like, it's just crazy. And it hurts to think how I ever felt like that. Anyway, so that was my first funeral. It was meant to be, actually my first funeral was meant to be my great grandma's. I had organised a day off for it and I was gonna go, and then I just got scared that I'd see my mum there, so I didn't go. Because that was just my family and it was just hard to deal with. But yeah, that was my first funeral. And it was so weird seeing like so many people from school, and like it's been 5 years since I've been there, since I'd graduated, and just to see so many people there, I was like, wow. And the worst part was I felt like he would have been happy to see all those people there too. Like, it's like he touched a lot of people. He knew a lot of people. He was really friends with a lot of people. He didn't leave a bad taste in anyone's mouths. So, of course, everyone went out to show their love and support and to say goodbye. And I think regardless of whether I believe in like life after death, I know parts of him will live on in me. And it has made me like, it's really sad and depressing and hard to deal with, but the good things that I'm taking away from it was he was such a kind and caring person, and he was so supportive, and he would celebrate like your wins with you. And so I just imagine him celebrating like my wins with me now. And I can imagine him being happy for me and like where I'm at. So that makes it easier to deal with. And so many different things I loved about like Corey, and I guess I really liked how they honoured him at the funeral. Was he was so many different people, I think, and he it was funny, everyone talked about his like love for Dungeons and Dragons, which I kind of knew that people played because one of my other friends had like talked about it, and like I didn't realize how hardcore they were into it. But he liked music and art and games, and apparently he liked motorbikes, which I didn't know about, which was really cool. And they honoured him by like displaying art and playing the music that he liked, and they had his like nerdier things there, like his they displayed things that were Corey. Like it wasn't about who people thought he was, it was about him. And like I just liked how he was so himself and not like embarrassed. Well, he probably was embarrassed by it, because I only say that because I know that he was really insecure, but you know, like it was just him. And I like anyone who's confident and comfortable enough to just be themselves and to not feel like they have to hide themselves. So I really like that. On a personal level about the funeral, I like I said, it was weird seeing all those people that I went to school with. I also like felt like really uncomfortable like we're not there for any sort of good reason. And I know that, you know, we were meant to celebrate Corey's life, and not be so doom and gloom. And I think I did get that piece of like, you know, I did kind of walk out of the funeral feeling like a lot better of like about him being gone, because like he isn't fully gone, and like you can see that in the way that everyone spoke. And he was just such a really good guy, and I think we can take a lot away from that. But like it was just so weird because some people were like laughing and smiling, and I was like, yeah, wow. I just wasn't at that stage. And I also just made me realize like I've got no friends. Like I also knew a lot of people in school, and yeah, I just don't really know anyone anymore. I don't reach out, I don't talk to anyone. I lost most of my friends when I broke up with Jordan, and the rest of that I just fell out of touch with. The rest of them, sorry, I fell out of touch with over the years. So it was just really weird to see like these groups coming together, and like I just wasn't a part of it, I guess. I felt kind of lonely, and I know that that sounds selfish because we weren't there for me, obviously, like I know that, but I think a lot of people were there for each other. And yeah, I even said hello to a few people, and I didn't really get anything back, so that was kind of weird. It's probably my own fault, I guess. Yeah, that was it was just weird. Anyway, so that was Corey and the funeral. We're gonna segue. Sort of similar-ish. Not really. It's not similar. It is not similar, but it's kind of on that sort of. Don't worry, I'm gonna transition it very well. I haven't been using social media for a number of reasons. But like it got to the point where I deactivated my Instagram account actually, and I was just like kind of sick of it. But seeing all those people at the funeral, and like obviously I didn't know what was going on. I wanted to catch up with people and be like what are you doing, and you know, what have you been up to and how have you been going? But yeah, I just wasn't. I don't think I was received very well for some reason, and I guess I also felt insecure in those sort of, like, I didn't know. I just felt like everyone like just didn't want to talk to me or something, so I was kind of afraid. There was one person that came up to me, and he was really nice and he gave me a hug, and like it was good to see him again, because I've always thought he was also a good guy, and he was actually Corey's best friend. So made me realize like I do want to connect with people and I don't want to just be so isolated, which I have been cutting myself off from like literally everyone ever. It's good to have friends, and it's like I don't know, I am just really picky. Like some people just drain the fuck out of me depending on the type of people they are, and like I'm one of those people who I think I'm at a different point in my life to other people. Like I'm only 22 and I'm building a house with my partner, and I'm thinking about, you know, getting married and having kids. And I understand that I'm in a different spot to everyone else. I'm very, at the moment, career focused just so I can get to that sort of point. Whereas a lot of other people are kind of more so, even though it's been 5 years, I can see it in them. Like I could see the interactions at the funeral, and obviously I've seen on social media before I really deleted it, and I know bits and pieces because I'm sort of in the loop with some things. A lot of people aren't really at that spot in their lives, and that's not saying anything bad. It's just they're just not, and it's kind of hard to be friends with people who are at completely different levels. I say levels not in like one's better than the other, but just on different wavelengths, I guess. You know, if I'm talking about like the serious stuff and I'm, you know, career, house, kids, etc., it's hard to connect with people who still go out every Friday night, and you know, like all these people that just don't really know what they want from their lives, or you know, there's a few things that I struggle with in friendships, and one of them is people who are really like negative, have problems all the time, and don't really do anything about it, which is actually a lot of people. So that's a no-go for me. People who are more performative, like I have had like one friend who struggled to be their friend because I feel like they just wanted like the aesthetic of a friendship. It's hard to explain, but like it was just a bit weird. And then I had another friend who I was actually quite close with, and I've not spoken to them for a while, and I've I guess cut them off because like I just didn't really have any trust in them, and like I feel like they just lied a lot about stupid things, and they never really made an effort. And for me, like when I'm friends with someone or like I care about someone, a lot of people might not really know this, but like I care a lot. Like I do give a lot of myself to people, and it kind of hurts my feelings a lot, and it puts me off when they can't like show effort back, or like I don't know. So like I do love a lot, and like I love hard when I do love, but it just means that like if I'm also sensitive, so if I don't really get much of that back, then it is what it is. Like I just don't need that. So yeah, it's hard being friends with people, I guess, because of where I'm at in my life. And I think a lot of people or also someone said to me once, intimidated by me, which is, you know, fair enough. I'll take that on the chin. Crazy. Like, I'm 22, and I'm where I'm at right now. It's like, what the fuck? And I still feel really far behind. Anyway, I gotta make friends with like 30-year-olds. So anyway, back on social media, I deleted it. I deleted Instagram. TikTok, there's just absolutely no point in having TikTok, so I deleted that. And I'm just sick of all the ads everywhere as well, like literally ads everywhere. And I think the depressing part of it was, you know, when I saw that video, I forgot where it was, of that woman being stabbed. And then after I saw that video of that woman being stabbed and dying, I was at work one day and I was just like counting something that I was meant to count. And then I hear like big fucking footsteps around, like coming around the corner. And it was like at 9 o'clock in the morning, if that. And my anxiety went through the roof. And for some reason I just freaked out. I went sweaty. My heart rate picked up to like 100 and something BPM. And I thought I was going to get stabbed. Like, I was so sensitive to the content that I was seeing that it made my anxiety so much worse. And I was so scared of everything and people. And I was like, we're not meant to be exposed to all these people like this. Like, social media is not only a good tool to see people you know, but it's a good tool to freaking expose you to things that you wouldn't normally be exposed to. And ignorance is bliss sometimes, and I just wish I never saw that video, and I wish I never heard about things that I heard about. And so yeah, I got rid of it because it just felt superficial. Felt like, yeah, performative, and like I was just stuck in this cycle of like not really living my own life, because I was just like watching other people's lives and like feeling like shit, you know. Like I'd follow like girls that I was like, oh, I'm gonna take inspiration from them, but it's like at the same time that's getting rid of my own ability to create my own life, and out of my own sort of, you know, taking inspiration from them. And it just made me more insecure. Like I was like, oh my god, she's so like pretty, or like she's a lot skinnier or taller, or like, you know, something like that. So there's so many different reasons why I didn't want social media. But then I think yesterday at the funeral, and just recently in general, I feel like I am like kept out of the loop a little bit. And it's not FOMO, because I did experience FOMO when I first deleted Instagram. I didn't have it for like a month and a bit. But it was like, you know, it would be nice to like, you know, genuinely keep in touch with these people. And I saw Jordan at the funeral, and because I was in New Zealand, I didn't get my messages, like my text messages, and he had messaged me about Corey, and for some reason it took like 4 days to come through, like after I had come back. And then he had messaged me letting me know about Corey, and he was like, he said to me at the funeral, like, oh, I was worried that you'd changed your number and I didn't have a way of like getting through to you. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I did have Facebook still, but I was like, honestly, I think social media does allow you the privilege of being able to connect with people. You know, at the same time, it's bad. Like, I don't want people talking to me that I don't want to talk to, but I don't want to be completely on an island, which is where I've been putting myself. So, yeah, I don't. I've got Instagram again. I've just been using it a little bit differently. I unfollowed like every business account. Fuck, we need to get onto like a new social media platform, honestly. Like, I'm so over Facebook and Instagram, and even Pinterest. Like, why is there an ad every 2 seconds? Like, literally every second photo is an ad, and it's just like, I'm not buying anything. And once you like kind of delete it and then pick it back up a little bit later, it's like, oh my god. Like, even Snapchat. Oh, I haven't had Snapchat for over a year now. Because it's like, I'd go watch someone's stories, and then after every story I watched, it was like 4 ads, and it was just like crazy, and notifications galore. You might know this person, you might know this person. Just like, Snapchat's just fucked, Instagram's fucked, Facebook's fucked, like all of it's fucked. I just don't know why social media has gotten so bad. Like, can we go back to the simple times? I don't think we actually ever can, which is depressing, because it's like, people make too much money out of that shit. You know, a lot of people want to work from home and don't want to do physical work anymore. So everyone's just like, oh, drop shipping and making ads and social media income. And it's like, because of that, people rely on it too much from a business perspective, but it's completely ruined it from a social perspective. So I don't know. There needs to be a better thing, I think. I hope someone comes up with that. But anyway, I'm doing well. I actually am. I am doing well. I'm not depressed. I do have hope. I am happy. I have been a little bit, you know, I've been going through it a little bit with hearing about Corey and like kind of crying about it every single day, and just, you know, a lot of questions and a lot of feelings that I kind of sit with me. But after his funeral yesterday, I do feel a little bit better. And life is actually good when you make it good. So that's kind of it, I think. There's like 100 million things I can talk about, but I think this feels like I've said enough, and it's gone for an hour. So thanks for watching. That's all. Alright, have a good life. Enjoy. I'll talk to you in whenever I make another video.